what we're focusing today. We're focusing today on this particular part of our country of Mexico, where they have a humongous insecurity problem with cartel and organized crime. This is the part right here in orange that is Michoacan. Michoacan is probably in the central, south, central east, central west, south of the country, kind of like in the middle, as you can see. Right here, this state on top of Michoacan is Jalisco, Guadalajara, Jalisco. That is next to the more important organized crime that has been denominated right now by the United States of America, that the CGNG cartel, it is one of the most armed and dangerous cartels in the world. It is one of the most armed and dangerous cartels in the world. And this is like the map of the cities. Now, you have people from Aguililla right here. This is a part where it's extremely dominated now. I don't even want to talk about the port of Lázaro Cárdenas. That is horrible over there. But you got people from Cuacoman, you got people from Lázaro Cárdenas, La Huacana, also from Zitácuaro, from all these kind of places. But particularly Aguililla, Apatzingán, Infiernillo, all these places are horrible. And then you got on the bottom, you got Guerrero, which actually is another state that is under a narco state. This is a really interesting and incompetent comment. Why leave? Fight back. And I'm sorry if I'm going to address you, because I said that I was not going to address no comments, but this is I don't want to insult you. But how do you fight back when you're a farmer and you're fighting against an AK-47 and people and the organized crime that they have been denominated by the United States of America, that is the most equipped cartel in the world? Just answer me that question. I'm sorry if I'm addressing you, but the comment itself is just, I don't know what to say. The comment itself, how you're going to fight. These are farmers that these are people that are humble people. How are you going to? My God. So this is another interview. This last interview that I will put right here this interview is going to take you over. This interview, I will play it for all of you guys so you guys can understand how horrible this woman, what she went through, and how she experienced her son being killed in her own hands, and watching her son being tortured by the organized crime. It's really hard to hear this kind of stuff, because you're actually watching a mother telling you how they torture her son in front of her eyes. And actually, they torture her horribly. Her hands were swollen. Her eyes were purple. Her legs were bruised. She was tied up and left in a road with unconscious, with nobody to respond to her. And she walked for miles to the next town. And she was saying, I could only see a little light on the road when I was walking. And I just walked through where that light was. This is a horrible case. Look at her statement. And as this is all in Spanish, as I did this interview alone without Ben Berquam. Look at this interview.
Cuando yo salí, vi esas gentes tapadas de las caras, encapuchadas, y se querían llevar a mi hijo.
When I was in my house, I went outside and I saw people that they were camouflage. They were, wearing, this headgear, this, beanies where, you cannot see their face. And they wanted to take my son. So I started forcing with them to telling them, no, you're not going to take him.
Y agarraron a mi hijo y le pusieron un mecate del buche.
So they picked my son up. They took my son away from me, and they put some kind of a rope around his mouth.
Color amarillo.
You know, like some kind of duct tape around his mouth and around his mouth. Yellow. The color of I remember the color was yellow.
Y lo jalonearon mientras a mí yo
They started pulling him, you know, at the meantime to me.
gritaba que no se lo llevaran.
I was yelling at them, don't take him away, don't take him away.
Dijo que para que no se fuera solo a la muerte.
You know, I was begging them, don't take him away because I don't want him to be going to die alone.
Y me llevaban a mí también.
So they took me too.
Me agarraron a mí, me agarraron de mi pelo.
They took me, they pulled me from the hair.
Muy fuerte, me arrastraron hacia una bajada lejísima.
They pulled me from the hair, they dragged me all the way to a hill. And they dragged me from the hair all the way to the hill.
Dejé mucho cuero, mucha
I left a lot of, you know, hair all around the road.
sangre de mis pies.
You know, a lot of blood from my feet.
Y porque no me quería subir al carro, me dieron bastantes rodillazos en mi cara.
Because I didn't want to go inside the car, they were hitting me with the knees in my face.
Y me trataron de quebrar como mi nariz.
And they tried to break my nose.
Y nos llevaron a un lugar, la verdad no sé dónde haya sido,
And they took us to another place. You know, I don't really know where this place they took us.
pero golpearon brutalmente a mi hijo.
But they brutally hurt my son.
Y querían ellos que yo con mis propias manos yo lo matara.
And they wanted me with my own hands to kill my own son. They wanted me with my own hands to kill my own son.
Y yo les dije que no,
And I told them, no,
propia sangre,
that's my own blood. I'm not going to kill my own son.
que yo no era un animal para matar mi propio animalito.
That I was not an animal to kill a little animal.
Le dije que yo no, y más patadas me daban.
And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And the more kicking, they were, you know, they were hurting me more.
Y con los rifles me pegaban en el estómago,
And with their rifles, they were hitting me in the stomach,
muy fuerte.
really strong.
Y entonces, como no les hice caso a todo lo que ellos me decían,
And because I didn't hear what they were saying, and I was not obeying what they were saying,
le estaban dando muchos tablazos a mi hijo. Y
they were hitting my son with a long piece of wood. They were hitting my son with a long piece of wood.
yo me cargaba para otro lado para no
And I was looking the other way because
mirar.
so I cannot look how they were torturing my son.
Y me daban unas cachetadas muy fuertes para que yo mirara
And they were hitting me in the face so I would look at my son how he was getting tortured.
cómo lo torturaban,
How they were torturing my son. So they were forcing me to look how they were torturing my son
con una tabla muy
with a long piece of wood,
muy gruesa.
really thick long piece of wood.
Por lo regular fueron como unos 10 tablazos.
As I heard, like around 10 times they were hitting him with this long piece of wood.
Al decir 11, le
When they were saying 11, when they were counting all the way to 11,
grité, déjenlo, por favor.
and when they counted to 11, I started yelling, please stop, leave him alone.
Le dije, ya no le den. Dijo, entonces vamos a rematar con usted.
Please stop, don't hurt him anymore. So we are going, and they said, oh, well, we are going to hurt you.
Y no sé cómo estuvo. Me dieron un tablazo así en mi puro lomo.
And I don't know what happened, but they hurt me with a long piece of wood in the back of my back.
Que me dejaron así que no podía ni bullirme.
They hurt me in a way that I could not even stand up and run.
Entonces le dijeron a mi hijo que lo iban a violar.
So they told immediately my son that they were going to rape him.
Que iban a violar a mi resulta de que mi hijo gritaba
You know, so it results that my son was yelling. My son was yelling
porque le dolía, no sé cómo lo hayan torturado en su violación, no sé.
because I don't know how it was hurting my son and how did they torture him when he was getting raped.
Decirle, pero lo violaron a mi hijo,
But they raped my son
muy feo, lo violaron.
really bad.
Y resulta ya de eso, a mí me dijeron también que me iban a violar.
So they told me later that they were going to rape me.
Ya en eso, cuando yo les grité que soltaran a mi hijo y a mí me podían hacer lo que ellos quisieran, pero que a mi hijo lo dejaran vivir más.
So I said, you know what, let go of my son. Just torture me so my son will go and free. Just torture me.
Años, porque pues apenas empezaba él a vivir, tenía 20 años mi hijo.
I said that because my son just was 20 years old. He just started living. So I said, torture me, don't torture him.
No se metía con nadie.
And he was never in trouble with nobody.
Yo le digo,
After the torture ended, do you know where the whereabouts of your son? What happened to him?
porque a mí me dieron con un rifle en mi cabeza.
No, because they hurt me with a rifle in my head.
Hasta de hecho aquí me duele todavía. Está
You know, I got a bump right here that it really hurts right here on the top.
sangre molida, no sé, no me
And I got,
acuerdo.
I got some blood still there.
Me dieron el golpe en mi cabeza y me ataron de mis ojos.
You know, and they hurt me. They punched me with a rifle in the head, and they wrapped me on the eye so I could not see.
Mis manos, si he de ver mis manos, las tengo.
If you see my hands, they're swollen.
No me circula como mi sangre.
The blood is not circulating as normal as should be.
Como medias muertas.
I hear they're kind of nauseous. They're kind of I cannot move my hands that are supposed to be moved
Porque me hicieron así
because they tied me like this
para atrás.
all the way to my back.
Así para atrás me hicieron muy fuerte para atrás.
They tied me up on the back real strong.
Me hicieron todo eso. Me agarraron yo como que estaba muerta.
They grabbed me and they thought that I was dead.
Yo me sentía como muerta, como que yo ya
So I started to feel like I was dying.
iba muy lejos y me tiraron como a un bordo de una carretera, pero yo sentí que caí como a un pozo.
So they threw me on the other side of the road like it was like a dip. And, you know, I thought that I landed like in a dip or a pond or something like that. And, you know, after that,
Acababa de llover muy fuerte.
it just rained real hard.
Cuando me salí de allí de ese pozo, como yo pude, resbalón.
As after I got out of that dip or that hole of mud, after slipping, and I don't know how I got out.
Como que yo agarré una raíz como de algo.
So I picked up a root of a tree, and I don't know how or what it was.
Y me salí.
And I got out of there.
Una lucecita porque no miraba, yo con mis ojos no.
And I saw a little light because I could not see. My eyes were closed because of how much they hurt him. So I could not see, and I saw a little light
Miraba nada porque me lo dejaron como ciego, sí me quedé ciego
because they left me all to blind. I could not see, so I saw a little light.
con este ojo muy cerrado. Y yo miraba una lucecita chiquitita, esa lucecita me guió.
And I saw a little light, so I started going after that light. I just started following that light.
Llegar al pueblo,
After that light took me to a next town.
pero no sé en qué lugar fue donde me tiraron.
But I don't know where they dropped me, where I was dropped.
Ellos me dieron por muerta, o sea,
They left me to die. They left me believing that I was dead.
me dejaron a mí tirada
They threw me there like I was a piece of something
que me recogieran.
so they can, so somebody can pick me up.
No,
Your son right now, at this moment, you don't know what happened to him. No.
llegué a mi casa,
I arrived to my house.
como pude, recapacité, llegué a mi casa,
I don't know how I did it, but I went to my house and I just got my bearings together.
como pude. Lo único que, pues yo agarré mi carterita, la única que yo tengo, esa
The only thing that I had my little wallet that I have right here that you see.
cartita que colgada. Yo nomás traigo la pura acta de nacimiento de ella, la de
The only thing that I'm carrying right now is the birth certificate of her
mi niño, la mía.
and the other one of my other
Y
son.
traigo el comprobante donde me iban a dar los de la credencial.
And I have, like, you know, my ID that they were going to give me, my ID, my Mexican ID.
El merito 13 de enero me iban a dar mi credencial, pero como estaba la delincuencia muy fea,
The 13, they were going to give me my ID, a Mexican ID, but because it was so insecure, I could not get it.
me trozaron la carretera y ellos tuvieron
They cut off the road. This is what the other interview was doing, people. The other interview that it just passed, I asked the same question. Is it true that they're cutting the road so they can own little town by town? And she says, she addresses this again, another case. She addresses this case as saying, because they cut the road, I could not go to the other town. So these people are stranded. These people are kidnapped by the organized crime, as the organized crime is cutting the roads to own every town.
ir a dar las credenciales y es por el caso de que yo no tengo credencial.
There's a big war right now in Aguililla with the cartel right now. There's two organizations that they're fighting over there strongly in Aguililla. There's a lot of organized crimes that they're really violent over there. Which organization do you think that is actually, the one that is purposely doing this?
Como ya al último, cuando ya me taparon los ojos, a mí me dijeron que eran del cártel Jalisco.
When they wrapped me in my eyes, they told me that it was the CGNG cartel.
Sí.
Those are the ones that they did this.
Ellos fueron los que me hicieron todo y los que violaron a mi hijo y los que le hicieron todo a mi hijo.
And the ones that they raped my son and the ones that they did all of this to my son. Can you show me a little bit of your knees? So that is her knees right there, people. Look at that. Look at that, people. That is just horrible. And I will just pause there for a little bit, but that is just horrible what she went through. And I have pictures where I cannot see. I cannot. There's pictures of me with my eyes closed. These are really delicate, sensitive, case. And you're with the other children. How old is your daughter? 14. My other child is 16. I imagine that your sons and you are in the same position, that you're extremely sad about all of this. And then this happens. And it's just, he was yelling. He was yelling, save me, Mom, save me. But I was tied up and I could not save him. No, I could not save him his life. So this is, I will stop the video right there because it's so strong. It's really strong. And when you're actually doing these kind of interviews, and when you're actually doing these kind of interviews, it's really difficult to hold it in. Really difficult. Because this is a mother that saw her son being tortured, raped, taken advantage, and also they torture her. Heartbreaking. This is horrible. This is how difficult it is in our country now. And we have an enormous influx coming more. There's a thing that is called, and I have been so emphatic since I started broadcasting and I started doing my programs. There's a thing that is called priorities. And in our country, our politicians and our president does not look at that word in our dictionary. And the priority is first our security in our country. This is her son given a statement of how they wanted to recruit him. And if he was not going to get recruited, he was going to be assassinated also. Hear this interview, 2 minutes and 10 seconds. This is her son also that he experienced watching his brother being assassinated in front of his eyes. When they arrived, this is when they arrived to go pick his brother up. When they arrived, I was sitting down with my brother. And they told us, we are going to take all the men, so they will go and fight with us. The organized crime is this. Like my brother, you know, he resisted and he didn't want to go. And they took him, you know, they tie him up because my brother didn't want to go. They tie him up. These are farmers, people. These are people that they don't want to leave their land again. These are people that they don't want to leave their land again. These are people that they want to stay in their land. They want to work their land. They want to be in the, you know, in Mexico. They love their country. They don't want to leave their land. They're humble, but they're happy. And he's saying after they went over, because my brother was resisting, they tie him up and they took him. And then I asked this question. This is the organized crime that went over there to pick you guys up, right? With your brother. That unfortunately you guys don't know where your brother is at. So basically the organized crime is going home by home to recruit you guys to basically fight for them against another cartel or against the government. Yes. What they did to you guys when at the moment that they went for you guys? But to me, they did not look at me clearly because I was, you know, laying down on the floor with my, you know, with my face down. To my brother, yes, they picked him up. And he was sitting down outside with another guy, so they picked my brother up. But you know, the other guy, you know, he was sitting down with my brother. He ran away and then he hid. But the only one that they picked up was my brother. They picked him up from the neck and they tied him up. My mom came out and defended him, like she was saying. And you know, they said, "Oh, you want to defend your son, so we're gonna hurt you also." They picked her from the hair and they started hurting my mother. So basically, these people are torturing, you know, the people so they can recruit you guys so they can fight against another cartel and the government. Yes. To fight another war against another cartel, to fight another war against the government. Because my brother resisted to go to them, they took my mother. So they can kill my mother also, but they only hurt her and that's it. And they broke her nose. How old are you? I'm 16 years old. Look at this, man. This is our youth. This is our youth of Mexico. 16 years of age, and I believe that this guy is traumatized for the rest of his life. 16 years of age. Hear this out. And you were telling me that you dedicate yourself to what? To the field. To demolish rastropo. Your brother was also dedicated to that? Yeah, my brother was dedicated to that. We were, demolishing this particular fertilizer. And you guys dedicate yourselves to the field, and these people deliberately come and pick you guys up so they can force you to work for them. So they came to us. We work on the field, and they came to us to force us to fight for them. Yes. Yeah, right. Because my brother did not wanted to fight with them, they killed my brother. Wow, people. These interviews are horrible interviews. But my God, how much proof do you want that the borders are not secure, like Biden administration is saying? How much proof do you want that our country is under this organized crime attack and complete dominance of the cartel? How much proof do you want to understand that our people are leaving our land because our incompetent communist president does not want to attend the necessities of our people first? And the left in Mexico are going to say that is dominated by another political party, Oscar Blue. I don't care. You're the president. Send the National Guard. Send the military. Defend our people. These people just want to live. They don't want to leave their land. They want to live. This is the number one thing. They want to live in their land. They don't want to leave their land. You leave them to no option but to push them out. How are you going to fight the organized crime? With machetes? With sticks? When these kind of people are the most armed and dangerous in the world?